Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 739 and Doulbshot number 643. I got two Marvel trades, and it's both volumes of the series S.H.I.E.L.D. No, this is not the Jonathan Hickman Dustin Weaver series, which, by the way, that's awesome. This is really good as well. This is actually taking elements. Now, when people saw this, people thought this was an adaptation of the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nope, it is not. It has nothing to do with the TV show aside from the characters. This is set in the regular mainstream Marvel universe. The comic universe. Not the MCU, the comic universe. Yeah, I have both volumes. By the way, all 12 issues. Yeah, the series lasts for 12 issues. All 12 issues written by Mark Waid with various different arts. And Volume 1 is, we have Volume 1 here, which is Perfect Bullets. Volume 2, The Man Called Death. Yep. Let's start with Volume 1, which basically in the first issue we had the first. Now, those of you curious though, is this the first appearance of Phil Coulson in the comic universe? No. His first appearance was in a miniseries called Battle Scars, which also introduced the Black Nick Fury to the regular Marvel universe. The only reason why that they have Black Fury in the comics is because Nick Fury is black in the movies. Plus, he showed up like once, twice this whole series. Yep. Also, Phil Coulson was also part of another group of agents. Well, he's part of the Secret Avengers, the S.H.I.E.L.D. version of them. Yep, he was actually part of the group for a good period of time. And Marvel was like, okay, because, well, they say this is from the hit TV show. Despite the fact, after I think it was like the first couple seasons, the ratings drop like a rock. I heard the most recent season, which I haven't watched yet, actually had some of the more. Actually, the ratings improved from season 4, but man, the ratings basically are there. The ratings that the show has are just enough to keep the show on the air. Yeah, that's how bad the ratings are for the show. The show itself is actually not that bad of a show. I have watched pretty much the first 4 seasons of the show. Now, in this comic, we have the comic introductions of the woman with the gun. That's Melinda May. The actress who plays her is actually in her early 50s, and she looks very lovely for a woman in her early 50s. In the comic, she looks like she's about 20 years younger. Yep. We also have Gemma Simmons right next to her. And who's this guy standing next to Phil Coulson? Why, that's Leo Fitz. Yep. And the way they draw them here, now the artwork is done, each issue is done by a different artist. The first issue was done by Carlos Pacheco, basically, yeah. The second one is done by Roberto Ramos. 3 is done by Alan Davis, a legendary artist he is. 4 is done by Chris Spruce. 5 is by Mike Cho. And 4, number 6 is done by Paul Rudd. Now, despite the fact this has the first 6 issues of the series, these are 6 loosely connected issues that basically build up into issue 6. Though what happens in issue 1, apparently revealed in issue... I will talk about issue 12 in a minute, but they will acknowledge how much time has passed by since issue 1. Yes, they do acknowledge a passage of time for 12 issues. Now, Maria Hill pops up occasionally in the series. Yeah, and when the series is coming out, this is actually one of a handful of comics she's actually appearing in. Currently, she doesn't appear in anything. Her most recent appearance I could think of was in Jessica Jones. Yep. Well, this one, basically, it's just the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents team with various Marvel characters. In the first issue, now in the second issue, which is a really good one, by the way. Yep, the first issue, which has the introduction of all these characters. This one they team up with, of course, they have all the various characters. Also, I don't know why in the world that they have this as far back as 2013. Yeah, a page we have to flip on this frickin' side. Yeah, they actually did this. And who did they team up with in here? Why, Heimdall. Yep, they met Heimdall. Oh, and what happens in this issue? This actually is followed up with in the final issue of the series. Yep. And those who be curious how the characters are drawn here. Let's see, what's a good picture in here? Phil Coulson is occasionally seen both in a suit and he's seen a couple times actually in the regular S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform. Like, this is how the artist draws Leo Fitz. He's a big, bulky guy in the comic. In the show, he's a very slim guy. And I gotta praise the artist I gotta praise his artist here who drawing Gemma Simmons. It's very similar to, it's kind of almost not exactly carbon copy, but it's very similar to how the actress who plays her on the show. Yeah, these characters I don't mind if they're drawn like they're live action. I know Melinda May. You can tell by looking at her. Yeah, she's drawn like her live action counterpart. Yep. In the first issue, they just save Heimdall from these demons, from these other people, and of course there's other people. They also have a guest star appearance by Black Knight and frickin' Valkyrie. Yeah, who expect these two to show up in a comic book much anymore? Yeah, last time I saw Black Knight, of course, is his last known appearance was actually 2 years ago. Yeah, in his own series where he's basically ruling Kingdom of Weird World. Here we go, Black Knight and Valkyrie. Yep, and this is one of Valkyrie's most recent appearances that she has made. Yeah, it's like Marvel half the time doesn't care about this character, despite the fact she's recently in the movie. Though I heard a rumor they might actually change the character's skin color to black because, well, Tessa Thompson played her, the actress with the color. That's basically who she was in the movies. Yep. And they also had this little thing of good one for the Help Monkey. It's this little card thing that apparently Coulson has set up with Leo Fitz for some reason. Yeah, this occasionally does play a role in this series. For some reason, when the series was relaunched, apparently for some reason, Mark Guggenheim actually completely forgot about this. Either that or he didn't know about this thing. Yeah. Issue 2, they team up with the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel. And she apparently knows all this stuff, and she talks about fanfic, and knows all this fancy tech. Yeah. Oh yeah, and apparently revealed that Gemma Simmons' father is actually an executive at Raxon Oil. Yeah, Raxon, who's actually the biggest conglomerate in the Marvel comic universe. And here's the thing, all the executives are all dicks. Yeah, they're all evil people because, well, it's a stereotype of oil tycoons. Yeah, that's not technically how Marvel writes the Rax. This is my theory of how Marvel writes Raxon Oil. They're based on real-life oil tycoons, and a lot of time oil tycoons are sleazy business, or basically very sleazy businessmen who all care about is making money. Yep, and her father is basically part of the group. Yeah, and they have this issue where Gemma Simmons basically just goes on the cover, and the whole point of it is just get her hands in this tech. Miss Marvel helps them, even though she's told a couple times not to help them. But it's nice the fact team with the local. And in issue 3, and I love this issue, by the way, Phil Coulson teams up with Spider-Man to break into Doctor Strange's mansion to stop a raid. They actually reference this a few issues later. Yeah, and this is done by Alan Davis. And man, Alan Davis does a fantastic job drawing Spider-Man. And this is also, I think this is the first time in the series they feature the car Lola. They do explain Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where the car got its name from, because in the TV show, they never bothered to explain what the name was. Yep. They team with the guy Rasmussen to stop this little siege at the mansion. They saved Wong. And those who are curious, though, where the heck was Doctor Strange? He was off in another dimension at that point. Of course, they also show up like a little bullet, stuff like that. Yeah. And we have issue 4 revealed that apparently for years, Susan Richards was in fact a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. And for some unknown reason, when she shows up in this book, her hair is really short. This is like brief Fantastic Four. This point, her hair is actually much longer. And the costume she wears in this thing actually was the current costume she was wearing at the time when she was last seen. And this is the costume. This is the second costume that was introduced during James Roberts' run for Fantastic Four. The font of the 4, that's actually from the Fantastic Four reboot movie. Yeah, I have no actually idea why in the world. Now I think I've heard people were actually very happy they went back to the blue because they didn't like the red uniforms they had to wear. So eventually, I guess Robinson or maybe Marvel must have heard the complaints. People didn't like the red, or maybe it was pre-planned. They were being the red for a brief period of time, and they'll switch back to blue. Yep, they switched back to blue, and that technically was the second last costume they would wear, because, well, they wore a slightly different costume during. They wore like a white. They went back to white and black costume prior to Secret Wars. Yeah. Issue 5 is a team-up issue with Scarlet Witch, and they have guest star appearances by Santana, Damien Hillstrom, Shaman of Alpha Flight, and Jennifer Kale. Yeah, it's always great to see Santana. Very underrated character. Not many people know about her. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering, her father is literally Satan, and her brother is Damien Hillstrom. Yeah. Like, Damien, you have one smoking hot sister. And yet, here's the thing. She doesn't usually seduce a lot of people at all, despite the fact she's hot. And she could easily seduce people, but she chooses not to. We also have Scarlet Witch's son Wiccan show up in here. Yep. Yeah, it's a nice little issue. Teams up with the Scarlet Witch. My guess is the reason why Mark Waid did this was sort of a future plug for the Scarlet Witch ongoing series. It actually came like about a year, like not long after the series ended. Yep. And then in the final issue, it's Dark Dimensions. Basically, what the arc of these issues build up toward. Basically, return the mindless ones, an agent called Agent Warlock, who's a genius on magic spells, and he's very polite to Maria Hill. But I'm sure even he notices that Maria Hill is hot. And yet, here's the thing about Maria Hill. She's only had sex with only one male character in the entire Marvel Universe, and that was Tony Stark. Now, I'm not kidding about that. They did it during the Stark Most Wanted storyline. During the Most Wanted story arc in the pages of Matt Fraction's Iron Man run. We also appearance by the Howling Commandos, who later get their own spin-off book, but not with this lineup. No, this lineup is made up of Simon Garth the Zombie, the Living Mummy, Man-Thing, who actually did show up in the actual Howling Commando series. Frankenstein's Monster. Of course, the group itself was later led by Dum Dum Dugan. These group did show up in the pages of Secret Warriors, but different layout. We also have appearance by everybody's favorite Doctor Strange villain, Dormammu. Yep. And they do defeat him. But I thought it was so funny that they defeated him by, apparently he had this magic bullet and it shot him in the hand. Apparently it did hurt him. So, they summoned of all people to beat up Dormammu's mindless ones, the Absorri Man for some reason. Yeah, this, I'm like, okay. They say this guy, Thor, just brought to jail. Okay, that does make sense because around this point, the female Thor was basically running around. She did take this guy to jail. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense. In fact, a good nod for that. But here's kind of the thing I have a problem with. Okay, they mentioned Thor bringing someone to jail recently. Couldn't they have an editorial note saying, yeah, this happened in Thor number 5. Yeah, I think it was like Thor number 5. When she fought, when Jane Foster Thor, she was revealed with Jane Foster, when she fought both Absorb Man and his smoking hot wife Titania, yeah. Yeah, and then the issue basically, when you last see Dormammu after he's defeated, he's last seen getting the crap beaten by the Howling Commandos. And Agent Warlock makes an appointment with Doctor Strange to get his, head back to normal. He says, you can see me in November. Okay, fine. Great book. 9.5 out of 10. Yeah. And one thing I love about this series, even though these are standalone issues, they actually build up to they actually are loosely connected issues, which you gotta appreciate that. With this one, for the final 6 issues of the series, we have these following people on the final 6 issues of the series. We have Greg Smallwood, this issue 7, Paco Medina, this issue 8, 9 is done by Lee Ferguson, 10 is done by Evan Doc Steiner, 11 is done by Howard Chicken. I can't wait to talk about this one. And Joe Bennett, this issue 12. Issue number 7, I actually own this issue. This actually features the return of Daisy Johnson. This is her first appearance outside of the actual series. What was the name of the series? It was, Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier. The series had bizarre artwork and half the time I couldn't tell what the heck was going on. Yeah, sharing some space. And they captured Mr. Hyde to sort of fix her. And for some reason, I have no idea why in the world that the artist did this for. Where they draw Mr. Hyde like the actor who played him on TV. Yeah, I pointed this out to Mike Spliers, so even he was shocked to see that the artist did this. Now, throughout most of the issue, she's wearing a mask. And the reason why she wears a mask is because apparently her body is protecting her inhuman powers. And he pointed out, though, that she thought this problem came from him. And he pointed out, though, he didn't develop the formula until after she was born. So, Yeah, this was really weird. She does help. He does help basically cure her, fix her up, and he even tries to make her like him. And of course, Phil Coles beats the crap out of it. Also, she even calls Coulson calls Daisy Johnson Sky, which is a nod to her TV show counterpart, which she was called Sky in season 1 before she got the name Daisy. Yep. So, yeah, interesting little issue. 8 is team up with Mockingbird, investigating like a source ring with body parts. Yeah, it's really weird, but it's a nice little issue. And like with the Scarlet Witch issue, basically a loose like backdoor pilot into her own spin-off book. Yeah, which got canceled as 8 issues for some reason. 9 is my personal favorite issues because it has this classic art style, which I love it, where it has an adventure with Nick Fury Sr. Yeah, it's all over this one person that they apparently cannot remember. And I love that they actually brought in Contessa. Yeah, Contessa Valentina Del Oro, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Yeah, this is her in the past, but I would love to see her in the present. But last time she was seen in the present, she was hauled off the jail because she was head of Leviathan. Yep. So yeah, great little issue. And it's all basically hypnotism basically caused it. 10, I love another one of my favorite issues. They team up with Howard the Frickin' Duck. That's not a joke. Yeah, an advertisement also for his own ongoing series. Now, unlike in the case of Scarlet Witch and Mockingbird, who got this series after this series ended, he had an ongoing series. Yep, it was actually launched like not long after this. I'm a little surprised that this issue was not put into a trade. Yep. And what's the point of this issue? Well, he has to save himself in the multiverse. Why not? It's not a bad idea. It meets ultimate version of himself, which was really nice. Then when they finally solve the whole entire crisis, Leo gets a glimpse into a possible future. He looks into it, and what does he see? He sees himself and Gemma getting it on. Yep. I think this is from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. Yep. It's a possible future. Yeah. As far as I know, this doesn't come about in the comic books because, well, they canceled the series before this can happen. Issue 11. Drawn by my personal favorite artist in the industry, Howard Chaykin. Which makes sense because he did a lot of Dominic Fortune stories because, well, issue 11 is basically all about Dominic Fortune. And why is he here? He's here to recruit Phil Coulson to get Hydra off his ship. It's a great little espionage story. I gotta show off this artwork. This artwork is fantastic. You gotta love Howard Chaykin's artwork. I actually met him. He's actually quite a nice guy. He's actually admitted to me that there's some work he doesn't like, but I'm sure he enjoys this one. Yeah, it's a great little story because, well, S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't like Hydra and stuff like that. The final issue is sort of a follow-up to issue 1, which has, well, supposedly Ragnarok happening, and some of the heroes getting killed off, and so they have to take the weapons to Asgard to fight them to prevent Ragnarok. They do, and basically Coulson calls up Heimdall. He says, "You owe me a favor from last month," and they mention issue 1. So apparently, yes, it has been 1 month since the first issue. So you're saying that the whole entire series takes place in a little over a month? Wow, that's a lot of stuff to happen in just a month. Yeah. And of course, they go to Asgard. They fight everybody in the classic Jack Kirby style artwork designs. Purely fantastic. I'm gonna give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's fantastic. The man called that's actually for one story. Yeah, it's gonna pass for Nick Fury. Yeah, unlike with the first 6 issues, these issues were just basically regular standalone issues. Didn't really build up anything. It's nice the fact issue 12 actually followed up with something back from issue 1. That's nice of Mark Waid to do that, to follow up with a favor that apparently Heimdall owed Coulson due to saving his life back in issue 1. This is overall a really good series. Sad to see it got canceled after only 12 issues. But it got relaunched they kept the series around. They relaunched it as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But then that book got axed at the 10 issues for no reason. I've never heard of the explained reason for this. Possibly due to losses. But this series This series is just fantastic. I really wish Mark Waid would have stayed on a little bit longer to tell more stories this, because it's just a fantastic series. Great artwork, great storytelling. I really wish we had another series like this to feature these characters. They're so fantastic. I love it. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode number 740 and Doulbshot number 644. Well, I'm going to cover 2 DC trades. You'll find out what they are. Well, when it's going to be a final trade for a particular trade series. You'll find out what they are in the next episode, okay? But we'll see you there. Bye.